A young woman who doesn't want to work. Surprise, surprise. Another video like this exists. We've seen a lot of stories about women who are like, I quit my job to do OnlyFans. And I wonder if it is that women would just prefer not to do more masculinized work and would rather do more feminine based things. I am not saying doing an OnlyFans is a feminine based thing. I'm saying that when given the option, many women, not all, not even most, would rather sell their bodies or photos or actions to men than to, I don't know, file paperwork or do taxes or anything like this. I think guys are object-oriented, analytical, mathematical. Women are linguistic, creative, and social. And thus you see this reflected in job choices. Women choose social jobs. Men choose goal-oriented or object-oriented things. So like a guy's going to work on an oil rig. A woman's going to be a teacher. But I digress. In this video, this woman here is upset that you have to work to live. And this to me is not so much an issue of, I think this is a reflection of not just what our society has done in raising children. It is not indicative of all Gen Z or millennials, but I think this sentiment must be approached because I've heard it all too many times. This leftist idea of like, why do I have to work? And I'd like to make a video, a warning, some criticism for those who refuse to work, criticism for those who would raise their children improperly, and criticism of these ideas. But let me just play the video for you and we'll break it down. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here is why do I have to work?
Work until we have to die just for the privilege of being alive? Huh? Like we never asked to be born, but now we're obligated to do labor until we die. Huh?
I love, huh? Oh, dude, come on. Oh, this is, I'm sorry.
We have to work somewhere just to afford a house that we're never at because we're working to afford the house. Huh? Is the meaning of life to work and pay taxes and then die? On top of that, we also have to work to afford our vehicle to get to work in other places and afford gas just to get to work. And we also have to pay taxes for our roads to drive on to get to work. With the privilege of food, which we should just be able to have.
Oh, my friends, please. Can I get this lady a free 2-week stay on a farm somewhere? You know what, man? First of all, I love the, huh? Okay, let me just start. The video's not over yet. There's more to say. When you raise your kids, and this is what so many people in this country have done, from 0 to 5 years old, you're doing nothing. You go to school where you're told to do and you're doing nothing. You're given food, you come home, you grab snacks from the fridge, you go play. You've got homework, you get no reward for it. It doesn't matter. Then you go to high school, same deal. Then you go to college, same deal, on loans. You get out, you're in your early 20s, you've never had a job, and all of a sudden they're like, now you have to get a job. And you're like, why do I have to work to have things? Life is work. I never asked to be born. I'm sorry, dude. It's just, I look at this and I see abject failure in parenting. Just the worst that could possibly be. Work is awesome. This is the problem. We just take pride in our work, no matter where you were. You did something for society. And I understand a lot of jobs suck, but think about the mentality. When I was a kid, I first got my first job was like 9 years old. Family business, coffee shop. I have does working at a coffee shop suck? No, I had a blast. I worked fast food. Did it suck? I don't know. It was boring. I wanted to do other things. I wanted to learn and improve my skills and focus on things other than like giving French fries to people. And I was 16 though, so I had that job. I did not cry about it. I got my paycheck I think they paid weekly actually. It was not bad. And I was making like $100 or something like that, or I think it was like 130 or like whatever. But I'm 16, so I'm like, I got money. What up? It's crazy to me that we're constantly working. We're doing things every day to improve ourselves, to build machines, and that's life. You're walking on a treadmill. That's life. If you stop walking, you'll fall behind. You'll die of starvation. But this person has grown up in the pinnacle of luxury in the United States. Security, luxury, and access. And so she says, I should just get food. Who's going to make it for you? It's just there, dude. Outside where we are at the castle, that's what we call it. We got pawpaws, we got grapes. Right now it's grape season because it's into fall. Frost has hit. The frost grapes are all ready to get ate. We got chickens. And I tell you this, ain't enough food to survive. Sorry. Someone's got to make the food. Even if you are foraging and you are eating deer or whatever it is you're doing, there are certain things you would rather have. In this world, you can do so little and get so much. But these people don't understand. Let me play more for you.
Pretty much just work and die. Let's not forget about life insurance just in case we almost die. And then we have to work for our children to go to school to learn how to work. So our children know how to work for their children so that their children can go to school and go to work. Like, somebody tell me that this is fair.
I'm sorry, dude.
Like, is it lazy to just want to enjoy life?
Yes.
Like, why do we have to work?
Because entropy exists. I would like to introduce you, young lady, to the laws of thermodynamics. Entropy. The state by which matter is, how do you describe entropy? Moving towards chaos, as it were, in order to maintain order, or negative entropy, which is not necessarily possible, but there's a whole lot of other quantum physics stuff in there. I'm going to get into it. But let me just say, you are in a perpetual state of decay, and we resist. We are the fires, the flames of order that we seek to take that free energy and organize it. However, my friends, in order to create more order, we must create more chaos in the process. It is just the way things are. Ma'am, you say, tell me that's fair? It is absolutely fair. It's the craziest thing to me. When I hear people say life's not fair, life's totally fair. Life is totally fair. Learn a lesson or two. Let's play. We'll wrap up the video and we'll get into this.
Why?
Why? She's covered in tattoos, of which they've cost many a pretty dollar. And it's like, why do I have to work? Food isn't just free and doesn't just exist. The shirt, the clothes, the car you're in, it is an amalgamation of all of the knowledge and all the hard work of our ancestors. Work, 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 work. Now, don't get me wrong. I know what she's talking about. She's talking about filing paperwork in an office. That sucks. She wants to go hang out with her friends. What does it mean to enjoy life? I'm going to let you in on a secret, my friends. I very much so enjoy life. What do? I work nonstop all day, every day. The only thing I ever want to do would be considered work. And get this. You say, but Tim, I saw you playing video games, or I saw you skateboarding, and work. It's all work. Everything is work. The problem is these people don't want to do anything. Look, what is it you're passionate about? Did you grow up playing video games? I love this. There's, oh man, one of my favorite Far Side comics. Gary Larson, you were so wrong. You guys know the Far Side? Great comics. There's a comic, this is like in the 90s, and it's a kid playing video games, and the parents are watching him play Mario or whatever, and they're hugging and holding each other's hands, imagining a newspaper saying, Mario expert needed, video game expert needed, and they're imagining job advertisements in the paper for someone who's good at playing video games. The joke he was making was that these kids are wasting their time and not developing any skills, and the parents actually thought the kid would get a career from this. Guess what? Yo, some of the wealthiest millennials and Gen Z people in the world play video games for a living. It's entertainment for people. It would be like going back in the day and being like, oh yeah, like you're going to make money playing baseball. Yeah, people like watching these things. They like culture. They like entertainment. So guess what? That dude who plays video games all day, it's work. The problem is she doesn't want to do anything. Now that's fine. That's fine. Maybe the real issue here is this young woman wants to hang out with her friends all day. Have you considered, ma'am, perhaps having a family? Have you considered finding a good dude, having some kids, raising those kids, hanging out with them, playing games, teaching them things? Is that work too? Maybe that's work. Maybe she really wants to do nothing at all. She says, why can't we just enjoy life? I absolutely enjoy everything I do, and I only do it because I enjoy it. You know, they say if you do what you love every day, you're not working at all. But that's a question. Why would you not love what you do? I'll tell you why. Now, it's the Industrial Revolution, for the most part. Look, if you grew up and you were being raised by your mom and dad and they were showing you the things they did, you'd enjoy doing them. If your dad was a blacksmith and he forges an amazing sword and teaches how to do it, and then, you know, everyone's like, wow, truly an amazing sword, and then they use it to go fight or whatever, you'd be like, wow, man, everybody really likes my dad. He's so good at making swords. I want to be like my dad. That's how it used to be. And then you try really hard to make a sword yourself. It was work. You were doing work, but you were you loved doing what you did because you grew up doing it. The problem with this young woman and with many people in this generation is that they did literally nothing when they were kids. I'm not kidding. They watched TV, they passively played video games and went around and rode their bikes. And so by doing nothing, when they're older, they're like, why should I have to do anything else? When humans are growing up, we're being programmed, in a sense. Our brains are forming to the world to figure out the best ways to survive. For this young woman, I'm willing to bet that she grew up doing nothing. Her parents paid for everything. She'd come home, grab snacks from the fridge, go play, and did nothing. Food was just there, and she enjoyed nothing. So what happens? Now that she's older, she's being told to dramatically change her way of life, and it is painful, and she doesn't want to do it. Her brain developed around, I don't have to do these things. Why should I have to do these things? To me, I grew up this way. Homeless several times. I was homeless, living in my car when I was 18. And if I wanted to survive, I had to figure things out. It was part of the game. It was part of the challenge. How could I do more? How could I be better? How could I succeed? Save money. You never know when things are going to get bad. That's my whole life. I never lived paycheck to paycheck. There was a period when I worked for the airport. But what I mean is I always just stacked money in my savings. I was scared to spend it. Because I'm like, I don't know, man, I got to buy a skateboard, but like my shoes get ripped. I got to buy shoes. So I eventually just started slowly building up a savings because I didn't want to spend money because I never knew what tomorrow was going to bring. I always did work because I'm just always trying to figure things out and do better. If you raise your kids and say, figure it out, they're going to grow up thinking, figure it out. I'll tell you this, when I was like 11, I bought a Game Boy and Pokemon Red. How? I worked at my family's business. They're like, if you want to buy it, you got to make the money and figure it out. So family coffee shop, worked behind the counter, made tips. Eventually I made like $50, bought myself Pokemon Red. I think I got a used Game Boy I think that's what it was. A used Game Boy or something like that. But, and then I got to play Pokemon and that's how I did it. And someone stole it, but that's a whole other story. And, people will say, oh, your family had a coffee shop. Your family had a business. That's exactly my point. Now, granted, the coffee shop went bankrupt. We lost everything. And it, was very bad for my family, but we tried. And so my point is, I saw that and I wondered to myself, like, why is it that I'm driven to do things? Well, it's because I was raised being told, if you want Pokemon, you saw it on the commercials, your friends are getting it, you got to make money and get it. So I had friends who got Pokemon. Why their parents just bought it for them? I wonder where they're at today. Not all of them have failed. I'm not saying it's a guarantee towards failure, but this is what life is. Too many young people are being given these cushy pamper lives. Their parents are like, my kid's not going to know the struggles I went through. Oh boy, I tell you what, my kids are going to know such struggle. They're going to know worse struggles than I went through. I'm going to make sure of it. And, my kids, they're going to get the best training, the best life lessons, philosophy, because I saw what benefited me. And my attitude is not, these kids will not know the struggle I went through. My attitude is, I am going to refine the practice, the training, and the struggles in such a way to bestow the best possible message I can for my kids or for other kids and other future generations. And I can't say that for other people's families or whatever, but, the best of my abilities. This is the problem with not just young people, but a lot of people. And this leads to a leftist persuasion. When she said, food we should just have anyway. I got into an argument on Twitter with some dude who quite literally said food comes from the grocery store. And I'm like, no, I get that. I'm saying, like, where's it produced? It's like, what do you mean? I'm like, how do they make the milk that goes to the grocery store? It's like, what are you talking about? It's at the grocery store. And I was like, oh my God. No, you think I'm exaggerating. There are people out there who quite literally think that the milk manifests right in the fridge. So why can't I just have it? They don't realize there are cows. The cows eat things. The cows walk into the machine. It's all automated these days. It milks them. The milk goes through a process and is shipped in a gigantic tanker to a distribution facility, which then pasteurizes and loads it into plastic bottles and other such things. It is then shipped off in raw form into many areas where they'll do milk modification. So if they're going to make yogurts or other things like this, a whole massive process before that milk can arrive at your doorstep. But I kid you not, there are people who don't think about that and can't understand it. That is a challenge we face right now. This mentality should not exist, but it is the excesses of our success. It is the security apparatus that keeps this woman safe from bears and from would-be criminals, where she says, I shouldn't have to work and I should get stuff for free. And it makes me sad. It makes me sad. But you get the point. You get the point. I'm not going to tell you how to raise your kids, but I'll tell you this. It is fascinating to me that we have people come on Timcast IRL and they'll talk about how, oh yeah, my kid's going off to college, but it's okay. It's a good college. I'm like, what? Where? Yo, we've seen colleges in conservative areas still have the same garbage policies. Why? It's not about who's running the college. It's not about the area it's in. It's about the law. The laws say you have to do these things. So the colleges do no matter what. Why would you send your kids to a wokeness factory? Why do it? They just say it. I see these things and I'm just like, yo, look, man, I'll tell you what your kids need. Your kids need jobs. Children need to work. Let me say it again for you. Kids need jobs. You know what's funny? When you say something like that, you get these leftists who are like, oh, I'm so offended. We got rid of child labor. One of the worst things we could have done is the banning of child labor in general. The best thing we could have done is no kids working in mines or in factories and getting injured. That I get. When I say kids need jobs, I'm not talking about putting kids in a factory or in a coal mine. I'm talking about a paper route. We don't really do newspapers anymore. I'm talking about walking dogs. I'm talking about mowing lawns. I'm a kid. I need money. You know what my dad says? I'll go mow lawns. And I'm like, okay, can I use the lawnmower? Sure. So what do? We go door to door. I'm like 10 years old with my friend. I knock on the door. Can we mow your lawn for money? I don't know. Sure. What do you need? $10? Okay. Sometimes you'd get like some old dude in the winter say, can we shovel your walkway for $10? And he'd be like, all right, go for it. We'd shovel the walkway, go up. And then sometimes you get a guy and be like, you did a really good job. I'm going to give you an extra $10. It wasn't always just about, I need someone to do it, because it's not that hard to shovel a walkway. And some people have snowblowers. But the neighbors knew we were young people who wanted to do work in exchange for goods and services, or we would provide goods and services in exchange for currency. So it was a lesson being taught to young people. Let me tell you what me and my friend used to do to get Pokemon cards when I was 12. Aldi. You ever shop there? Well, you got to put a quarter in the shopping cart to take the change so you can take the shopping cart out. It's how they prevent shopping cart theft, I guess, or they make you want to return the carts because people don't return the shopping carts. Here's what we do. We would wait in the parking lot at Aldi, two 12-year-old kids, and a guy would walk up, start loading the groceries, and I would say, excuse me, sir, would you like me to take that shopping cart back for you? And he would say, sure. And then he'd get in his car and he'd leave, and we'd bring the cart back and take the quarter. Why? The quarter meant nothing to this guy. It was worth the exchange. You put the cart back, you can have the quarter. I don't got to worry about leaving it in the parking lot. There were some funny moments where one guy was like, okay, but I want my quarter back. And then we were like, we're bringing the cart back because we want the quarter. Oh. And then me and my friend would look down and we would have like $5 in quarters because that means 20 carts had been returned. And then we would go to the card shop and we'd buy a Pokemon booster pack. If we wanted to buy it, we had to figure it out. And so it's so crazy to me because we weren't like, this is so dumb that we have to do this stupid thing. Yo, it was like, we felt like we were scamming people. It was like, get rich quick, baby. It's like, man, is this crazy? We'd be like, hey, what do you want to do today? Like, I don't know. Do you want to go return shopping carts at Aldi? And we would just walk to the parking lot and be like, excuse me, mister, can we bring your cart back for you? And be like, you got it. It's so crazy to me that me and my friends had this. And you have these people who are just like, I don't want to do anything. I should just get stuff for free. Someone has to make it. And that leads me to things like, hey, man, I'll tell you a secret. You want to make easy money? If you don't want to be your own boss, here's what you do. I recommend going to an area that's got good weather. San Diego's got pretty good weather, but I don't know I don't know the San Diego area, so don't look at me. Do you play guitar? Okay, well, you're going to need to learn how to play the guitar. So I learned like a handful of top 40s songs that I just liked. I learned how to play, Don't Look Back in Anger? I don't know the name of the song. I learned how to play Wonderwall. I learned how to play Have You Ever Seen the Rain? And I would go into the subway in Chicago and I'd play guitar and I'd make money. And I was making like, if I played original songs, I'd make like $7 to $10 an hour. And I was really happy with that because I was basically working on my own music, you know. And then some days I'd play covers and I'd make a lot more. I was making like 15 to 30 if I played top 40s. And then one day a friend said, let's go play at Wrigley. And I made like $200 an hour. And I was like, holy crap. You don't need a permit or anything. Stand on the street corner and we would just jam out and we would play, we'd play top 40s. We started playing some like, I don't know, indie rock stuff. And some guy, like everybody at the game, they're excited. There's bars everywhere. They're drunk and they're just like, yo, and they're throwing money in. And I was like, that's so amazing. We made people happy. They're hanging out with their friends. They're laughing. They hear a song they know and love, or they request a song. One guy was like, can you play any Neil Young? And I was like, no. And the guy's like, let me try your guitar. And I was like, you break it, you buy it. And he laughs. He takes the guitar and he plays a song and they all laugh for like 30 seconds. And he goes, thanks, buddy. And he throws me a 20. And I'm like, this is what it's all about. Providing a service, playing music and helping people have a good time. That's work. We need to instill that in young people. I'm ranting about it because I love work. I love working. So I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at, what do we got? 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.